to the course of Cryptography and Network Security. This course is for 4th BTech first sem. Myself G. Prashanti, Vignan's Lara Institute of Technology and Science, Department of Information Technology. Already in previous class we have seen about the PGP, which is a pretty good privacy, which is used for pretty good privacy. PGP means pretty good privacy. Pretty good privacy. Okay, it is a free open source, okay, available software package, and it is used for email security. Okay, so pretty good privacy is used to provide email security. To provide this email security, it performs 4 functions. The first one is authentication, second is confidentiality, third one is compression, and fourth one is email compatibility. Okay, these are the 4 functions that PGP uses. Okay, these are the 3 operations that the PGP performs to provide security to email. Okay, so already in previous class we have discussed these operations. The first operation we have discussed is authentication. What the source will be doing is that, so the PGP will be taking the message, okay, on that message M. So by using the SHA algorithm, on the message M, so a hash value will be generated. Okay, so this hash value acts as a signature for authenticating. Okay, for authenticating this, whatever this hash value we are having, this will be used as a signature. Okay, so since it has to be used as a signature, since this hash function has to be used as a signature, so it is encrypted with the private key of the source. Okay, so this hash function is encrypted with the private key of the source by using algorithms like RSA or Digital Signature Standard (DSS) algorithm. Okay, so by using either of that algorithm, so here the hash value will be encrypted, and this encrypted hash value acts as a signature for authentication. Okay, and then the signature is added to these messages. Okay, the signature is attached to this original message. Okay, after attaching this original message to the encrypted hash value, so we will be compressing it. Okay, so we will be compressing it, and after doing the compression, this is the data that we will be getting. Okay, so this is the output data that we will be getting, and this output data and this data will be sent to the receiver. Okay, so here as soon as the receiver receives, he will be checking for the signature. Okay, he will be authenticating it. Okay, so here what he will be doing is that first he decompresses. Okay, since we have compressed the data, we will be doing the decompress. After decompressing it, so here what the receiver will be doing is that he will be taking the, he will be detaching that. Okay, since we have attached the encrypted hash value with the message, he will be detaching that encrypted hash value, and on that encrypted hash value, he will be decrypting the hash value. Okay, so the hash value will be decrypted by the public key of the source. Okay, by the public key of the source by using either RSA or DSS algorithm. So here the destination will be decrypting, and he will be getting the hash value. Okay, and similarly on the message M, again he will be applying the SHA algorithm, and he will be computing the hash value, and he will be comparing this hash value with this hash value. Okay, if both are same, that means that it is authentic. Okay, if both hash values are same, that means that it is authentic. Okay, so here whatever the algorithms the source is using, the same algorithm has to be used by the destination. Okay, if for here for encryption, RSA algorithm is used by the source, the destination has to use the RSA algorithm only. Okay, and if the source is using like DSS, the destination has to use the DSS. Okay, whatever the algorithms that A is using, the same algorithms has to be used by the B. Okay, so that is the authentication. Already we have discussed in our previous class, And next operation we have discussed is confidentiality, where in confidentiality, whatever the message that we are having, that message is first zipped. Okay, so here the first message is first zipped, or we can say it is compressed. After compressing the message is encrypted. Okay, so since we have to provide confidentiality to the message, to provide that confidentiality to the message has to be encrypted. Okay, to encrypt that, what we will be doing is that we will be taking a session key. Okay, taking the session key, the message is encrypted by using the symmetric key block ciphers like IDEA. Okay, IDEA, CAST 128, triple DES. Okay, these are the algorithm that the PGP supports. So here they can use any algorithm and they can do like encryption with the session key. Okay, so after doing the encryption to the message, since the same session key has to be used by the destination. Since the same session key has to be used by the destination, so what we will be doing is that we will be encrypting the session key with the public key of the destination. Okay, so we will be encrypting the session key with the public key of the destination, and this encrypted session key and the encrypted messages are attached. Okay, so this encrypted session key and the encrypted message is attached and is sent to the receiver. Okay, so the encrypted session key and the encrypted message is attached and sent to the receiver. So here what the receiver will be doing is that he will be detaching that session key. Okay, for doing so, in order to view, for the receiver, in order to view the message, he has to decrypt the message since the message is being encrypted. Okay, so for decryption of the message, he requires the session key. Okay, to acquire that session key, what he has to do is that, so he will be detaching this encrypted session key. Okay, and he will be decrypting that session key. Okay, he will be decrypting the session key with his private key. By using his private key, he will be decrypting the session key, and after decryption, he will be getting the session key. Okay, so since he has received, he has got the session key, he will be decrypting the message. Okay, he will be decrypting the message with this session key, and he will be doing the decompression, and finally he will be getting the original message. Okay, so that is the confidentiality that can be achieved in PGP. Okay, and the third functionality that is provided by the PGP is the compression. Already we have seen in previous slides. Okay, so like there is compression. So if it is confidentiality, before encryption only compression has been done. Okay, if it is like authentication, after generating the signature, first we will be generating the signature by generating the hash value. Here the hash value itself is a signature. Okay, so here the signature is first appended to the message and then compression is done. Okay, and this compression, what is the use of this compression? The benefit of this compression is that it is saving space. Okay, for saving the space for email transmission and even for file storage. Okay, for saving the space for the email transmission and for file storage, we will be doing the compression. And this compression, whatever the PGP compresses the message after applying the signature. If it is authentication, so here the signature, after applying the signature, compression is done. Okay, and before encryption, if you are doing like confidentiality, before encryption only compression has to be done. And PGP by default does this compression. Okay, so as to save the space. And this and the notations that are used for representing that compression and decompression is that for compression the notation used is Z, and for decompression the notation used is Z inverse. Okay, for decompression Z inverse, and for compression we will be using the notation Z. Okay, and the algorithm, compression algorithm used is zip algorithm. By using the zip algorithm, PGP provides the compression. Okay, and the fourth service, or we can say the fourth operation, okay, that the PGP provides is the email compatibility. Okay, so after doing that confidentiality, after performing that encryption, the output is nothing but a binary data. It is an encrypted binary stream of data. Okay, and since email was designed for text only. Okay, since email was designed for the transmission of text only, or we can say email supports transmission of only printable characters. It does not support transmission of binary data. Okay, so here there is a need for conversion of that binary data into printable characters. Okay, so what the PGP does is that to convert that binary data into printable characters, it uses the Radix 64 conversion algorithm. Okay, by using the Radix 64 conversion algorithm, okay, so here the PGP converts the binary data into printable characters. So the reason for doing this email compatibility is that so email does not support transmission of binary data since it only supports transmission of text. So we have to convert the binary data into ASCII characters. Okay, so this is the process here. So after encryption, suppose after encryption, this is the binary data that we are having. Okay, so this has to be converted into printable characters. Okay, this binary data has to be converted into printable characters. For converting into printable characters, we are using like Radix 64 conversion. Okay, so here whatever the 24 bits that we are having. So okay, those are first divided into 6-bit blocks. Okay, so we have divided these 3 blocks into 4 blocks. Okay, so each block of 6 bits. Okay, after that we will be converting into an integer version. Okay, so after that we will be converting into an integer version. After converting into integer version, we will be using the Radix 64 encoding chart. We will be having a like you have an ASCII chart that consists of binary that consists of decimal value and its equivalent character. Okay, so decimal value equivalent character. So similarly here also for Radix 64 encoding scheme, we will be having a chart that consists of some decimal value and its equivalent character. Okay, so by mapping into that encoding chart. Okay, so the decimal equivalent for this 36 is your character 4. The decimal equivalent for this decimal 36 is your character K, and similarly the decimal equivalent for 25 is Z, and 38 is M, and for 8 is L. Okay, so by using that chart, by using that 64 Radix 64 encoding scheme chart, okay, so we will be converting these integer versions into the equivalent characters. Okay, so and the output is your printable version. So this is your printable version. Okay, since these are in text, so since this version is in text, now we can transfer this text through email. Okay, now we can transfer this text through email. Okay, that is about the email compatibility. Okay, and next is your segmentation and reassignment. So here, whatever the email that we are having, email is restricted to maximum size. Whatever the message that we are transferring, okay. So there is a restriction on the size of the message. Okay. So if the size of the message is too large, so the email does not support transmission. Okay, so here the email facilities are often restricted to a maximum message length. Okay, so there is a restriction to a maximum message length. For example, many of the facilities accessible throughout the internet imposes a maximum length of 50,000 objects. Okay, so that means that there is a limitation on the size of the message that is to be transmitted. Okay, so if any message is longer, then it must be broken into smaller segments. Okay, if the message length is like too long, that means that if it is above that 50,000 objects like that, so in that case the message has to be broken into smaller segment, each of which is mailed separately. Okay, so the message will be divided into segments, and then each segment will be made separately. Okay, so to accommodate this restriction, so here for PGP, so here the PGP, to accommodate this restriction, the PGP automatically subdivides a message that is too large into segments that are small enough to send via email. Okay, so even if a message is too long, okay, if your message is too long to be sent, okay, through email, then what PGP will be doing is it will be automatically dividing it into segments. Okay, divide it into segments. Okay, and the length of that segment is small enough to send via email. Okay, and the segmentation is done after all the other processing. After all other processing, it means that after performing like confidentiality, authentication, and whatever compression, and even including the Radix 64 conversion. Okay, after doing that all processing after completing all that processing, then segmentation is performed. Okay, so here segmentation is performed after other processing including the Radix 64 conversion. That means that after completing authentication, confidentiality, compression, email compatibility, so after performing all these 4 functions, segmentation will be performed. Okay, so and after doing that segmentation, those segments will be sent to the receiver, and similarly at the receiver side, reassembly has to be done. Okay, since the message length is too large, since it is being segmented and sent, so at the receiver side, okay, at the receiver side, all those segments has to be reassembled. Okay, so reassembly at the receiving end is required before verifying signature or decryption. Okay, since the segmentation is done after authentication and encryption, and then it is sent. So similarly at the receiver side also. Before doing that signature verification, that is authentication, and before decryption only. So all the segments that are sent are to be reassembled. Okay, are to be reassembled, and then it has to go for the authentication and decryption. Okay, so that is about the segmentation and reassembly, where segmentation is done when the message size is too big. Okay, if the message size is too big, then PGP divides them into segments, and those segments are sent through email. Okay, and similarly at the receiver side, as soon as the receiver receives those segments, he has to reassemble those segments, and then it has to go for the further process. Okay, so that is about the segmentation and reassembly. So those are the different operations that are done by the PGP for supporting that email security. The 4 operations that are done are like authentication, confidentiality, compression, and Radix 64 compression, and then if required, segmentation and reassembly. Okay, so and different algorithms. So while doing those authentication, confidentiality, and doing that compression and doing that Radix 64 conversion, what are the different algorithms that PGP uses? Those are listed in this table. Okay, so here these are the different functions. Okay, so these are the different. So these are the different functions. These are the different functions that we have discussed earlier. Like your digital signature. Digital signature is nothing for the authentication. For authenticating the messages. Okay. For authenticating this, for authentication of the messages, we require a digital signature. Okay. So where the receiver will be verifying that signature. Okay. So to generate this digital signature, so to generate this digital signature, what the PGP will be doing is that the PGP uses the combination of DSS or SHA algorithm. Okay, so where SHA algorithm, this SHA algorithm is used. Okay, so this SHA algorithm is used for generating the hash function. Okay, or we can say the hash value. Okay, so this SHA algorithm is used for generating the hash value. Okay, so this hash value acts as a signature here. So and similarly, whatever this hash value that is generated, it has to be encrypted. Okay, to make that hash value as a signature. Okay, to make that hash value as a signature, that hash value has to be encrypted. So that encryption is done by public key crypto system. Okay, so here the public key crypto system that we are using is your DSS. Okay, that is digital signature standard. So by using this digital signature standard, so we will be encrypting. So this whatever the hash value that we are having, that hash value will be encrypted and decrypted. Okay, that encryption and decryption is performed by using this digital signature standard. Okay, so so that is either you can use these two, or either you can use this RSA or SHA. Okay, so similarly, similar to that only, we will be using SHA algorithm for generating the hash value, and for verification, and then to make that hash value as a signature, we can use the RSA algorithm. Okay, so here that is what a hash code of a message is created by using the SHA-1. Okay, so that means this hash value is generated by using the SHA algorithm. And the digest, or we can say the hash code then is encrypted. Okay, so this message digest, or we can say hash code, that hash code, hash value, message digest that is created is encrypted using DSS or SS. Okay, encrypted using DSS or RSA algorithm. Okay, you can use either DSS or RSA algorithm, where you will be using the sender's private key included with the message. Okay, so that is the first function, that is your digital signature for authentication purpose, where you will be using the algorithms, the digital signature standard with SHA or RSA with SHA. Okay, and the next one is your confidentiality. Okay, so the next operation is your confidentiality. So to provide this confidentiality, we will be doing the message encryption. Okay, to perform this confidentiality, we will be doing the message encryption. To do that message encryption, already we have said the PGP uses the symmetric key block ciphers. Okay, so the symmetric key block ciphers that are used is your fast, IDEA, or 3-key or triple DES. Okay, so you can use either fast, IDEA, or triple DES with Diffie-Hellman or RSA algorithm. Okay, so this is your encryption process. This fast, IDEA, or triple DES are your encryption algorithms, and whatever this RSA that we are having, this RSA is for encrypting the session key. Okay, so for doing this, okay, for doing this encryption process, okay, for doing this encryption and decryption, whatever the cast, IDEA, or triple DES that you are using, okay, these three algorithms requires a key. Okay, for doing that encryption and decryption, the sender and the receiver requires a key. Okay, so that session key, so that session key is encrypted by using the RSA algorithm. Okay, since it is a symmetric key cipher, where the sender and the receiver will be using the same key. Okay, since the sender and the receiver uses the same key, so the sender has to send the key secretly to the receiver. Okay, since here the sender is using this session key for encryption process. Okay, so the sender has to send this session key to the receiver secretly. For sending it secretly, what he will be doing is that he will be using RSA algorithm. Okay, RSA algorithm for encrypting this session key and decrypting, encrypting the session key at the sender side and decrypting with the public key at the receiver side. Or either he can use the Diffie-Hellman also. Diffie-Hellman is one of the key exchange algorithm. Okay, so Diffie-Hellman is a key exchange algorithm. By using the key exchange algorithm also, the sender and receiver can exchange the this session. Okay, so this Diffie-Hellman and RSA for secretly exchanging the session key, we will be using this Diffie-Hellman and RSA algorithm, and for that encryption of the message and for the decryption of the message, we will be using the algorithms CAST, IDEA, DDS. Okay, so the message is encrypted. So here the message is encrypted using CAST 128 or IDEA or DDS with a one-time session key generated by the sender. Okay, here the sender will be generating a one-time session key. By using that session key, the message is encrypted by using either CAST 128 or IDEA or DDS. Okay, and similarly the session key, since the session key is generated by the sender, that session key has to be sent secretly to the receiver also. Okay, so to send that session key secretly to the receiver, what the sender will be doing is that the sender will be encrypting the session key using Diffie-Hellman or RSA with the recipients publicly included with the message. Okay, so here for session key to be shared secretly, either we can use Diffie-Hellman or RSA with the recipient's public key. Okay, you can use RSA algorithm where the session key is encrypted with the recipient's public key and included with the message. Okay, so that is included with the message in the sense that after encrypting that session key and the message is attached and then sent to the receiver. Okay, so that encrypted session key is included with the message in the sense that the encrypted session key is attached with the message and sent to the receiver, where the receiver will be detaching that encrypted session key and message, and then he will be decrypting that encrypted session key, and after decrypting he will be achieving that session key. By using that session key he will be decrypting the message. Okay, so that is the second function, message encryption, where the algorithms used for encryption of the message are CAST, IDEA, DDS, and for encryption of the session key, for the encryption and decryption of the session key, we will be either using the Diffie-Hellman or RSA algorithm. Okay, so these Diffie-Hellman, RSA are for the key exchange, and these CAST 128, IDEA, and DDS are for the encryption process. Okay, so and the next one is your compression. Okay, the third one is your compression, where the compression uses the zip algorithm. Okay, for compressing the messages, for compressing the data, or the PGP, what the PGP uses is that the PGP uses the zip algorithm. Okay, so the message may be compressed for storage or transmission using zip. Okay, for storage or for transmission, you can use zip for compressing the data so as to save the storage space, or for saving space for transmission of the message. Okay, so and the fourth function is your email compatibility. Okay, so email compatibility, to support this email compatibility, the algorithm used is your Radix 64 conversion. Okay, the algorithm used is your Radix 64 conversion to provide transparency for the email applications. Okay, an encrypted message may be converted to an ASCII string using the Radix 64 conversion. Already we have said since email transfers only printable characters. Okay, so here what the PGP will be doing is that, so whatever the binary stream that we are having after encryption, so that binary stream is converted into printable characters by using the Radix 64 conversion. Okay, and then it is sent through the email. Okay, so these are the different algorithms used for the PGP. Okay, used by the PGP for authentication, DSS or SHA or RSA along with the SHA algorithm for generating the signature and for verifying the signatures. Okay, and similarly encryption, to do that encryption. Okay, for encrypting of the message, for encryption and decryption of the message, the algorithms used are CAST or IDEA or DDS, and for the key exchange. Okay, for encryption, since it is a symmetric key ciphers, Okay, since these are the symmetric key ciphers, whatever the key that is generated, it has to be sent secretly to the receiver. To do that key exchange, we will be using either Diffie-Hellman or RSA algorithm for key exchange. Okay. And for compression, we will be using the zip algorithm, and for email compatibility, we will be using the Radix 64 conversion. Okay. So, and this figure shows the relationship among the four services we have discussed so far. Four services, that is nothing but your authentication, confidentiality, compression, and email compatibility. Okay. So here, suppose here this X. Okay. So suppose here this X is a file. Okay. This X is a file that has to be sent to the receiver. Okay, since this X has to be sent to the receiver, so what first is done is that we will be asking if signature is required. Okay, if signature is required, then we will be generating the signature. Okay, already we have seen your authentication operation. By using that authentication operation, we will be generating the signature. After generating that signature, that X value and this X. Okay, after generating the signature, this X, whatever the X, it is a file. Okay, the file X is appended with the signature and is then sent. This X is appended with the signature. Okay, so this X is appended with the signature, and you will be getting a new X. Okay, so if signature is not required, then we will be going for the compression. Okay, so here in compression, so by using that zip algorithm, so that XY will be zip. Okay, after doing that zip, if confidentiality is required. Okay, if confidentiality is required, then we will be encrypting the X. Okay, so we will be encrypting the X, and then we will be doing the conversion, Radix 64 conversion. Okay, so after doing the Radix 64 conversion, if required, we will be doing the segmentation. Okay, if the message is too long, then segmentation is done. Okay, since the if the message is not if the message is short, okay, if the message is short, there is no need for doing the segmentation. Okay, so and then after doing the Radix 64 conversion, we will be transmitting the message. Okay, or the PGP will be transmitting the message. So this is the generic diagram. Okay, this is the generic transmission diagram from A. Okay, so from the source A, this is the generic transmission diagram. Okay, and the reception. This is the generic reception diagram to B. Okay, so B is the receiver here. Okay, so as soon he will be receiving the as soon as he receives the data. Okay, so what is the first step that is done is that, so he will be converting from Radix 64. Okay, that means that whatever the printable characters, are converted into binary string. Okay, so here you will be doing like inverse of that Radix 64, and with that we will be getting a binary string of that X. Okay, so and then we will be checking again for if confidentiality is required S. Okay, so then decryption is done. Okay, since here if confidentiality is S, encryption is done. Okay, since encryption is done, then here decryption of X is done. Okay, after decryption, again decompression is done. Okay, so we will be decompressing the data. After decompression, again we will be checking if signature is required. Okay, if we have appended the signature here, if we have done signed the message here at the sender side, if the message has been signed by the sender, then that sign has to be verified here. Okay, so here what we will be doing, that we will be stripping the signature from X, and we will be verifying the signature. Okay, after verifying the signature, if it is authentic, okay, if it is authentic, then then he will be opening the message and he will be reading the message. Okay, so that is the generic reception diagram and the generic transmission diagram. Okay, so so where the file is checked for generating the signature. okay, and then compression is done, and then confidentiality can be achieved, and then radix 64 conversion is performed, and the transmission is the inverse. Okay, so since the transmission is the inverse, where we will be going down to up. Okay, where we will be converting from radix 64 to by using the radix 64, you will be converting the printable characters to binary string, and then confidentiality. Okay, if we have done confidentiality at the center side, then decryption will be performed, and then decompression is done, and then we will be verifying the signature. Okay, signature is verified. Okay, so the reception we will be going down to up. Okay, and after verifying the signature, you will be getting like X. Okay, so these are the relationship among the 4 services of the PGP. Okay, so this is like a summary of your PGP operations. Okay, so these like first the function done is your digital signature. Okay, this is the overall summary that we have studied so far. So digital signature for authentication purpose. Okay, to perform that, to verify the signature for authenticating. For authenticating, we will be generating the signature, and that signature is appended with the message and sent to the receiver. So what the receiver will be doing, he will be detaching, he will be stripping out that signature, and then he will be verifying whether that signature is whether the signature is the original signature or not. Okay. So and what are the algorithms? So the algorithms used are your DSS and SHA algorithm, or either you can use RSA and SHA algorithm. Okay, and similarly, for generating those signatures, we will be using like DSS or RSA algorithm, and for generating the hash value, or we can say for generating the hash code, or we can say message digest or hash value, we will be using the SHA algorithm. Okay, and the second one is our message encryption. Okay, so message encryption for the purpose of the operation of confidentiality. So for confidentiality also, we will be using the algorithms like cast, IDEA or triple DES. Okay, so these are like cast, IDEA or triple DES for the encryption and decryption of the message. Okay, these algorithms are used for the encryption and decryption of the message. Okay, and for the key exchange, since these are the symmetric ciphers, the key has to be shared to the receiver also. For secretly sharing of the key, the algorithms used is like Diffie-Hellman and RSA. Diffie-Hellman, RSA are the key exchange algorithms, and cast, IDEA and triple DES are your encryption algorithms for encrypting the message. Okay, and the third function we have seen is the compression, where compression is for saving the storage space. Okay, for saving the storage space for transmission or for file storage, we will be using the compression, and that compression is done by using the zip algorithm. Okay, and the fourth function is email compatibility. Since after encryption, since the message we are getting is in the form of binary stream, okay, we have to convert that binary stream into printable characters. Okay, email compatibility. So email compatibility. So after doing that confidentiality, we will be getting like a binary stream of data. Okay, that binary stream of data has to be converted into printable characters. Okay, so to convert that printable characters, what we will be using is the radix 64 conversion. Okay, by using that radix 64 conversion, PGP will be converting the binary data into printable characters. And last one is your segmentation. Segmentation is nothing but simply dividing the message into segments. Okay, if the message length is too long, if the message length is too big, so and if it is too big, then what PGP will do is that it will be automatically divides the message into segments, and then it will be sent to through email. Okay, and at the receiver side. So at the receiver side, so these segments will be reassembled. Okay, so and at the receiver side, those segments will be reassembled. So PGP supports like segmentation and disassembly to accommodate maximum message size limitations. Okay, so since through email, since there is a limitation on the message size that is to be transmitted through email, to overcome that limitation, okay, to accommodate that limitation, what the PGP will be doing is that it will be dividing the message into segments and transmitted, and at the receiver side those segments will be reassembled. Okay, so that is about the PGP operations.